Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jennifer C. at HomeLifeCultureLink.com, Nino Simeka at MortgageGodfather.ca, and Jewelry Forever at JewelryForever.ca. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regine Alaina, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
Because I'm tired of
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to this beautiful, gray, pretty rainy day. Kind of looks treacherous out there in this city of Toronto. Hello, and welcome to episode 72 of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, and I'm your host, as always, the one, the only, Scott Dion Brown. Hello. And, of course, I'm not alone here today. I'm joined, as always, even though, again, this is our second episode here in isolation. So we're not in the same location. But through the glory and magic of the internet, I'm joined, as always, by the greatest co-host in the galaxy, the one, the only,
Regine Alaina. Happy Sunday fun day, ladies and gents. And like Scott said, welcome to episode 72.
So, how are you, Regine?
I'm okay. Just stuck inside. How are you, Scott?
I'm, can't complain. It's, I've gotten pretty used to this social distancing thing. It's, makes things pretty easy. I mean, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything except for the stuff that I'm just doing, pretty much on my computer day to day. And I did a lot of cleaning yesterday.
Day to day.
Mm-hmm. So many video games being played. So many video games. Oh, hi, Les McKenzie. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in on this gray Sunday morning. What'd you get up to this week?
Treacherous.
Treacherous on this treacherous day.
What did I do this week? I stayed inside, and I went live with Liz, who's actually on here today.
Yes, that's right. In fact, should we introduce them now, I guess?
I think we should.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, why don't you say a few things about them, Regine?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so I've known them for a year now. They're sisters, and they're all the way in London, Ontario.
Ontario, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm going to say, yes.
Okay. That's one thing about doing these shows like this is I mean, you mentioned this yesterday, but it's like, yes, we can't do the show in our regular studio where we're all in the same room, but because of that, it kind of gives us this option of we could basically interview people in a much wider range than people who can come locally to our studio, right? So That's what we're doing today. We've got some people all the way in London, Ontario. So let's meet them. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Elizabeth and Katie Marnoch, also known as the Marnochy.
Hi, everyone. Introduce yourself. I'm Katie. I'm Elizabeth. We're the Marnochy.
They're the Monarchy. So, welcome to the show. Thank you guys for being here today. And how are you? How are you guys doing? How are you guys adjusting to? Have you adjusted to this social isolation time that we're going through right now?
Go for it. I think pretty well. It's been kind of weird just being inside, obviously, but we managed to entertain each other to a decent degree. So that makes it fun. Yeah, I'm definitely lucky to have her in isolation with me. Otherwise, I'd probably go a little crazy. But I think overall we've been managing pretty well, and hopefully we'll be able to continue this because we're not sure how long this is going to last. So hopefully
we can get through it.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
we see sashes on you. Can you guys tell us a little bit about that and why you got them on?
Yeah, so I'm the current reigning International United Miss Canada Teen, and I'll be competing for the International United Miss Teen title, hopefully this July, if all things go to plan. And yeah, I'm really excited about it.
And I am Miss Galaxy London for the second year in a row. And I'm really excited for the national pageant, which is still supposed to be at the beginning of September. So both of us are still
Cool.
holding out hope for
Yes.
all of that going according to plan.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess September's
so
far enough
exciting.
away that they're. Yeah, it is exciting. September's far enough away that they're not sure yet where we're going to be, right? Because I think a lot of other things everything's basically being pushed back at least a few months. So hopefully it all stays on track. I think that's good. So Katie, this is your second time being Galaxy. So the last Galaxy pageant, that was your first ever time competing in a pageant. Is that right?
Yes, it was. It was my first time. It was super fun. I'd obviously been to a lot of pageants because Elizabeth's done it for a lot longer than I have. So I had an idea of what it was like. But when I went to Canada Galaxy the first time when Elizabeth competed, I was really inspired by the whole system, the way Cindy ran everything. And I just wanted to give it a shot. And it was such a great experience. And I'm hooked. So I'm back.
The pageant bug got her.
Yeah. Well, I was
That's
going to
awesome.
say, because the first time you were... Oh.
Yeah, Regine, keep
Yeah,
going.
I
And
was
there's a
saying the
delay,
first
I know.
time that... I'm like, the first time you were both on our show, you were both in the Galaxy system. Liz, you had just won the title of Miss Teen Galaxy Canada, and Katie had just joined as Miss London. How has it been since we saw you guys last?
There's been a few changes. I had a really great time at internationals competing with Team Canada, and we had a fantastic time. And I wanted to go back to an international pageant just because of that amazing experience. And so I decided to apply for an appointed title with International United Miss, so I can keep the positive energy going and continue to compete. So that's what I've been up to.
Yeah, and for me, obviously I went to the national pageant, and it was, like I said, it was just a great experience. Got to see Regine get crowned, which was fun. And besides that, it's been kind of same old.
Yeah.
In school.
Yeah, I started
All that fun
university.
stuff, yeah.
That was kind of the biggest change. I actually moved to Windsor 2 days after flying back from Orlando at the international
Oh
pageant.
my gosh.
Which was crazy. But I'm starting my first year at Windsor for film, so that's been kind of busy. I left a month early due to the coronavirus, but those are the big updates, I guess.
So now all schools have been closed now. Have they done anything to are you able to still doing any distance stuff, or is it all just stopped completely?
For me, I've been continuing to do assignments and stuff. It's mostly online submissions for most of the stuff in university now anyway. So it's been kind of easy. They've changed the weight of different assignments. So some people don't have to do some exams because a lot of exams have changed online, which caused some panic, I guess. So I'm still in school. We're going to be finishing regular time, but it's just strictly online right now.
Yeah. And for me too, my program's really essay based, so a lot of that's kind of just stayed the same because it's not really affected. You can just kind of digitally submit it, and that's fine. But for my exam courses, it's been moved to a lot more writing based things, so they can mark that. But other than that, yeah, it's kind of been going through slideshows that we would see in a lecture room, just in my bedroom on my computer, which is really weird. But
And is there a prof just like
we're
reading it and
making do
stuff?
Pardon?
Is there a professor like reading it and stuff, or do you actually just is there an actual lecture to watch, or is it just reading?
Yeah, so in my case, it's been they just post the lecture and then they attach like a audio clip to each slide saying what they would have said. So
It depends on the prof though,
Yeah.
right? It depends on the teacher. Like I have one class that he really he's my film teacher, so he loves being on camera and talking to us.
Course.
He's doing that online. It's kind of a similar situation where it's just all FaceTime. And then there's some that just post slides. So it's also up to however the teacher wants to go about it. Yeah.
Interesting.
I see. So Liz, you're studying film. That's cool. I mean, I like
Yeah,
film
yeah,
myself.
I'm studying. Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. Like, I got into film in high school. I took a communication technology course, and we learned all the Adobe suites and stuff like that. And I got really interested in Photoshop and Adobe Premiere and video editing and things like that. And then through university, I kind of wanted to add some business courses. So ultimately, my end goal is to make commercials and small, short films, perhaps, stuff like that. Not really feature films. I don't really want to be a director, but I'm in class with a bunch of people who are, which is really cool because they're super creative. So yeah, it's been a really interesting program to learn and be able to be taught by a lot of really cool industry professionals that come in all the way from Toronto every week to come teach us. So it's been a really interesting experience.
Awesome. That's really cool. So, I mean, I don't know how much, it depends how the program is structured. I guess is there a lot of hands-on stuff like that you have to like work with the equipment that I can imagine? Is that harder to do with the distance education, or how have they been managing that?
Yeah, so actually the University of Windsor program is very hands-on based. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to actually go to that school. And with the social distancing, it's actually been very hard because right before we left, we had filmed our short film for our first year project.
Oh gosh.
It's a group project. And so people are throwing around files and sound, and we're kind of like makeshifting it at home, which has been so difficult because it was already going to be hard to make a film as a group in person, let alone in distance. So the professors allowed us to either write an essay or complete our movie. So I'm going to tackle making our movie, our whole group's movie, by myself. So we have something to show, because the ideal situation at the end of first year film projects is we're supposed to submit them to local film festivals and try for like Rookie of the Year type awards. And so we still want to be able to have that opportunity to win those awards and to get in the film festivals. So I'm taking one for the team.
Awesome. So had you already gotten all like the sort of the principal photography parts finished already? So is it just sort of editing that's left to do?
Yeah, so we had 2 parts of the introduction to film course. So the first was script writing, learning f-stop and parts of the camera and how it functions, and lighting and all that jazz. That's what we were working on first semester. And then second semester, we actually got into groups. We got positions like director. I was the producer of our film, and there's like a gaffer and a variety of film positions. And then we made it all together, and it was really, really cool. We stayed up super late every night making this movie in a dorm. It was a very interesting experience. So, and I'm excited to do it because we do it every single year. So hopefully next year we'll have a little bit more opportunity to actually make the full thing.
Very cool. Well, we'll want to see that when it's done, I think. Hey, Regine, yeah?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'll plug it. Or
Yeah, exactly. We'll plug you in. Don't worry.
So,
Katie, what are you taking?
Yeah.
I'm in media studies, so very similar, but my program is a bit more theory-based. So we talk a bit more about how like media is and has an impact on basically everything in society. And I really like it.
Cool.
Very awesome. So how have you guys been, I know we talked a little bit about adjusting. So, I mean, we asked this last week as well, but like there's because we all can't go outside, have you guys been watching anything cool on Netflix lately? Any cool new shows?
Well, me and Katie are actually really big movie watchers. We almost watch a movie every single night, regardless of isolation. So our problem we've run into in isolation is that we've watched every movie on Netflix, that we've been interested in. So now we've gone into like really bad movies.
Like what?
I don't even know the names of some of them, but they're like
made for TV,
Hallmark-esque, terrible movies. But they're highly entertaining. I mean,
there's something about those types of movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they definitely have its own little special flair. But I mean, we like them just because we're usually so tired when we're watching them. Anything's funny at that time. But yeah.
Makes sense. I just finished watching Tiger King. I watched The entire,
Yes.
and I think, did you guys say earlier you watched like first episode, Regine? You've seen a bit of
I
it,
did.
or have you guys seen it?
I've
Marnoch,
seen
you
the
know?
first episode.
No,
We haven't seen it.
It's always recommended every time I open Netflix.
But
so.
I've heard little pieces about it of the
Yeah.
crazy. I don't know what his name is. Something.
Joe Exotic.
Joe
That's
Exotic.
it. Yes.
I mean, I literally started watching it
Scott, that
because,
should
like,
be your Halloween costume.
you know what? That's going to
That's
be a
gonna be
popular
everyone's
costume this year for
Halloween
sure. Yeah, I started watching because I started seeing the memes everywhere, right? And I'm like, what is this? It's like
Yeah.
same thing like Love is Blind. There were memes of Love is Blind everywhere, and like, then this just became the latest one, and it's such a
Right.
Yeah.
crazy. Like partway through, I started watching it, and I was like, is this like one of those fake documentary, like a what do they call them?
Is
Like
this
the
real? Yeah.
mockumentary? Yeah, like I thought it was like, or these must be actors playing parts. You know, because I'm like, if people were trying to write this, like it was like almost like watching Trailer Park Boys, like this. It was
But this is like real life Trailer Park Boys.
But was it
Yeah.
supposed to? It's not fiction?
it's not fiction, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
At least-
It's real
okay.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least if
Wow.
it is, it's they don't like it. It's definitely passed as real. I'm pretty sure it is real. They're real people. They're just
Pretty sure. Yeah. It's
well, like they're
insane.
just weird. They're just weird moments. Like there's one scene where like they're interviewing a guy.
No
right?
spoilers, because I'm
No,
still
this isn't.
watching it.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything. I would never. I'm very, very against spoilers. But like, there's one scene where they're interviewing the guy, and he's just like they film him like filling a bathtub with water, and then he gets in the bathtub, and then he's just talking to the camera in the bathtub, and I'm like, so how did this come about? Like, so the camera crew came to his house. And they were like, okay, we're gonna film your parts, you know, where you're talking to the camera. Okay, where should we do that? Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, I was about to have a bath. Why don't we just do it there?
I'm gonna take a bath now.
That's what I mean. So I'm like, so like, how did that conversation happen? And there's a bunch like that. Like there's the other guy, he's just sitting there with his shirt off the whole time, like in a lounge chair. And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for the interview now. This is how I'll look. It's so many questions like that.
But imagine being
come
the
up.
camera crew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine being the camera crew. They'll be like, okay.
That's the thing. I don't.
So
Like watching the show, it makes me ask so many weird questions like that, where I'm just like, how did this come to be? Like it's weird. Like these people are all very interesting characters. Anyway, it's worth watching if you guys haven't watched it
That's
yet.
a polite way of putting it.
I'm sure we'll
Yeah,
crack it at
sure.
some point.
Yeah. We'll
Start
definitely watch
watching it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
gonna
well, that's the
have
thing. We're
to.
all,
Yeah, at this point,
Yeah.
yeah.
there's just a lot of time to kill all of a sudden. So you'll get there. You'll get there. It's good. I watched Frozen 2
I
last
already
night.
cracked, so I mean.
There you
You
Oh.
did? Did you like it?
go. Not really. I didn't like it that much.
I heard it's not as good as the first.
That awkward silence.
Yeah, I will say it's definitely. I will say the first one is definitely much better, much better.
Yeah.
You guys have all seen it, or Regine? I know you've seen it, right? Have you guys?
Of course I have.
Have you guys seen it?
We haven't seen it, but I heard like the general plot line and like
Yeah.
what happened. So
You should watch it.
okay.
Okay.
We'll
Well, I
definitely do
mean,
that. We have no.
I didn't think the songs were as good as the last one.
No, the songs weren't as catchy as the first one. Thank goodness, because Let It Go is
Mhm.
overplayed and very
Yeah.
catchy. But I mean, it was a good movie, I think.
The one song
But
that
that's just me. I like all Disney.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I don't think this song, this movie is. It's not on the same level as like, you know, the real classic Disney stuff, like the Aladdin
Disney.
and Beauty.
Well,
and
I
the
mean,
Beast.
it is. Yeah, but it's part 2, so it's like Little Mermaid Part 2 isn't as good as the first one.
Yeah.
But
I'll-
I mean, have you
Yeah, I'll-
seen Little Mermaid 2?
I haven't.
Yeah, too.
You guys have seen it?
You should.
Yes.
Actually, didn't that one come out? Oh,
Beginning.
that one came out.
Yeah.
That's how it's all.
Did Little Mermaid 2 come out kind of
Came out a
recently?
while
Did they make
ago.
But like not like
No.
15
I
years
watched
ago.
it.
When did it come out?
Yeah.
Oh.
like
I haven't.
15 years ago.
I'm gonna say
I was
like early
small.
2000s probably.
Okay, well, I missed
That's
that.
awkward, Scott.
But I don't normally.
Sorry.
Well, you know, actually, I'm not also good with remembering.
You don't
time
normally
stuff.
watch princesses.
Well, no, I've seen most Disney movies, except I'm also not good at remembering. Like something could have been a year ago, something could have been 5 years ago, and I would never. It all bleeds together for me. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
I
but
watched
I will-
Star Wars.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You
But yeah,
did
we
it?
should talk about that. So Regine finally saw. So you watched so far. You've only seen one, right? Just episode 4. You've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you start on
Yeah.
episode 4?
Because apparently that's where you're supposed to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 4
I don't know
is the
what to tell of it.
episode 4 is the first Star Wars movie. So it started episode
But then why
4.
is it 4?
Well, because that was the it's like the middle of the story. So it's like episode 4, 5, and 6, and then they made the prequel trilogies,
Mm-hmm.
which take place before, which is episode 1, 2, and 3, and then they made the most recent ones, which are 7, 8, and 9. So that's why the first one to watch is episode 4.
Liz.
I'm confused.
So I'm guessing. So you guys haven't seen any Star
lot.
Wars either?
No.
I think I've seen the first episode 4 one.
Episode
Wow.
4.
The first episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. I think
I saw,
what's
like-
interesting is. Oh yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I think I saw like Lego Star Wars when I was babysitting. It's the closest I've ever been.
Pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so Regine, what did you think of it? Tell me your honest opinion of Star Wars: A New Hope, Episode 4.
It's not something I would watch again.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's like I was watching it, and when they started taking out the lightsabers, I was like, oh, it's like sword fighting, but with lights. Like I knew the characters, I didn't know the story behind it, and it just no.
Not
Sorry.
a fan. What, you know what the one thing I will say about it is I've obviously seen all of them. I will say though, Episode 4 it's like the classic, you know, it's the original, but it's also kind of it's the slowest pacing wise of all of them. Like Episode 4
It's
came out in
very
the
dated.
Yeah, exactly. It came out.
Yeah.
It came out in the 70s, and like it kind of has that pace. Like you notice when you watch movies from the 70s, a lot of them they're just a slower moving movie, and this movie,
And it was
yeah,
it was
No,
it
go
was
ahead.
slow, but then it was also like it was I am going. It was slow. It was just very, I don't know. I guess because it is made in the 70s, it was very cheesy in their effects, and I was like, yeah, I can't watch this anymore.
yeah. It's that's the thing. I mean, like I love it, but I do see. I've noticed it because I've shown these movies to other people before, and I do notice that, like, especially if you're used to the pacing of movies now, or even like things changed a lot, especially into the 80s. And I think if I were you, watch the next one, Empire Strikes Back, because that one is the one that most people agree is the best Star Wars movie ever made. And the pacing is a lot faster, and it's much more of a modern movie. Like it feels a lot more like a movie that would come out today. Whereas Episode 4, it's very important to me, and I love it. It's close to my heart. But I can see why somebody watching it new, used to modern films, wouldn't appreciate it in the same way. I can see that. You know.
I mean, if isolation hits me that hard, then maybe I will watch this next one. But
Yeah.
Watch everything else on Disney Plus. And
except
yeah.
I get through National Geographic, so then I'll think about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's right. That's the thing, because on Disney Plus now, there's so much stuff. That's right, because they have the National Geographic stuff. They've got Marvel movies. I mean,
Oh my
there's
gosh,
a lot.
I'll get through all 30 years of The Simpsons before I go back to
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Although maybe not, probably not. I mean, because you didn't, like, when the first one ended, you didn't really feel the need to, like, oh, I gotta see the next one. You weren't in that mode.
No, I was more like, oh, okay. So wait, they didn't know this happened? All right. And then I went to bed.
What I found when I watched it was like, I don't really get the motivation behind certain things. It just kind of felt like things were happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a weird movie to watch for sure. It was very different than anything I'd ever seen before.
Yeah, I was like, what just happened?
Yeah,
This
it's
looks
also
like a cheap video game.
yeah. I mean, it was the effects were, I mean, revolutionary for for
70s.
its time. Well, yeah. I mean, before that, there'd never been anything like it. But it's harder to look at it now through when you can see what the effects that they had in that movie. I mean, every movie that's coming out now has better effects than that. So it was kind of, you do have to kind of watch it through that lens of, okay, that's not that. This was amazing then, but it is hard to be amazed by the special effects if we've kind of seen it all already now. Everybody at this point, we've been there. What do you think of the characters? Did you find the characters likable? Did you like Han Solo and Princess Leia?
Oh my God.
I thought Princess Leia's voice was so much deeper than I thought it would be. Like, oh yeah. Okay. I didn't know. I thought her voice would have been like softer or sweeter, but no, it was very
Yeah, actually, Carrie Fisher does have a bit of it's kind of a raspier voice. She does have a raspier voice. That's a good point. I never really thought of that, but she does. Well, but
that's my only take on that.
Very interesting. Well, there you go. You've seen the first Star Wars movie, and it was and you were underwhelmed, Regine. So that's what you've been missing all this time.
Yeah. Well, because you guys like hype it up so much. Like our Christmas episode, you guys, yeah, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. My brothers, like everyone that loves Star Wars is so like, yeah, Star Wars. Well, sorry, Star Wars this and Star Wars that, and then I'm just like, cool.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, there's a large part of it where it's like, especially again, episode 4. In fact, I remember one time, when I was in elementary school? I think I was in grade 7. In fact, I remember I was in grade 7, and our class was taking our Quebec trip. We like got on a bus and we all drive to Quebec for a week or something. And I remember they had like a VCR on the bus where they could play movies, right? And so they'd said in advance, yeah, guys, there's a VCR on the bus, so if anybody wants to bring a movie to play for everybody, you could bring movies, right? So I brought the Star Wars trilogy.
You brought Star Wars.
Yeah. So and I remember like we put on episode 4, and even then like I watched it and like there were people on the bus who already had seen it, right? But there were some people who had never seen it. And I remember after episode 4 ends, like some people found it like boring, right? And then I remember they put on Empire Strikes Back, and everyone liked it. I remember one kid even looked at me and was like, "Finally, Scott, like this is a good movie." And I was like, "I didn't make this movie. What are you yelling at me for?" But there was just a very different response between episode 4 and episode 5, and I think it's because not only did technology take a leap forward, but you can tell that like going into the 80s, like the movies started to look a lot more like what modern movies are now. I mean, there's still a long way to go, but it feels a lot more pacing wise. There's a lot more stuff going on in Empire. So again, you're not the only one to react to episode 4 kind of like, oh, just one of those things. So they announcwe today in Ontario that people now cannot gather.
So random.
Well, there's lots to talk about.
Your segues, come on, Scott.
I know. Well, I wasn't sure. Oh yeah, it's like speaking of trips, school trips to Quebec, which we're not allowed to do right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
there you
yeah,
go.
I think they announced yesterday in Ontario that you cannot have gatherings. The maximum number of social gatherings can be 5 people.
Well, thank goodness there's 4 of us here.
There are 4 of us here, yeah. Some places have made it 2 people. Did you hear that? I think some states in the U.S. they've limited it to the max 2.
What if your family is more than 2?
They take the kids. They just move in and they're like, "We're coming for
Yeah.
you." No,
But what if it's like a grandma, grandpa? You're gonna get rid of the
Sorry.
grandma, grandpa?
Yep, that's exactly it. Yep.
I think they make an
No,
exception for people who live in the household. I think. Like if
Yeah.
you're already there, you're there. And yeah.
Yeah, I think the same thing here. They've
I
made
hope
exceptions
so.
for. They've made exceptions for. There were 2 exceptions. One was families who have more than 5, and the other one must have been essential workplaces, but I can't remember. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I mean, you know, things are pretty serious out there because it was max 50 people before, but now they've made it max 5. So there you go, people. Stay home.
Mhm.
Is it raining where you guys are?
It was raining really hard this morning, but I don't think it's raining now. I can hear the birds chirping outside.
Oh.
So I think
Yeah.
it's sunny outside
It's
now.
definitely not pouring.
It's actually yeah. I don't think it's raining here, although I can't hear outside. But the window's all wet and it's really gray and foggy. Like I can't even see any of the buildings. So it's gray and treacherous out there.
I haven't looked out the window. I woke up and I was like, I need to get ready for the sit down.
Yeah. Actually, I was kind of the same. I'm sitting next to a window so I can look. But yeah, when I got up, I was straight to. Is this actually like the first time since last episode that I've put any product in my hair?
Wow.
Looking good.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I had to get fancy for the show, but that's the thing about the social isolation is I get up and I basically wear pretty much pajamas all day long, pretty much, and
I've never
Just at my
seen
computer.
Scott so cash. And then all of a sudden he goes on camera. I'm like, whoa, you're in the holiday. What's going on?
That was kind of the same thing with me. Like for my live streams, since I've been home, I wore like no makeup and pajamas. But now that I'm in my live streams on my pageant account, I kind of have just a little bit. And then I put a sweater on. I'm still in my pajama bottoms, but
Mhm.
I'm in my pajama bottoms
feel
today.
that.
I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Kennedy challenge for Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
Cindy wants us to do all these. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I have to like
Get
get
ready.
dressed. It's like, ugh.
I have to do my hair today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's well, yeah, it's the only excuse to be because okay, we gotta be camera ready. Okay, I'll get myself looking camera ready. But otherwise, I mean, I think everybody's probably just, oh, great, I don't have to wear. Oh, I'm working from home today, but I can work from home in my. I don't gotta wear clothes. Okay, great. So,
Ew.
well, you know, it's
hopefully
the reality.
Some clothing.
Yeah.
Some
Come on,
Casual.
Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casual Friday.
Well, it depends. It depends if it's like really warm. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I don't know. It's
It's true.
you know what? Actually, there is a you
Okay.
said. The one thing about it is though, they even suggest for people who do work from home that sometimes like to more feel better. It actually feels better to actually get yourself ready and like do your hair and all that stuff, just because it gives you more of like a sense of normalcy and also that you're kind of up and moving. Whereas if you kind of just stay in your pajamas all day, you can
Pajamas.
kind of feel like meh a little bit. But I don't know.
Yeah,
There could be
well,
something
like,
to
'cause
that.
I work from home, so I made sure that like I put my makeup on, I dressed as if I was somewhat going to work on a casual Friday, just so again you feel that sense of normalcy. But then for me at least, I feel better about myself when I do my get all dolled up and done up. So
Makes
gotta look
sense.
good to feel good, but not always.
Exactly. Look good to feel good. Dress for the part. Oh, in the chat, Lightspeed Dude, what's up? How are
Exactly.
you? Welcome
he's
to the
back.
show. Yeah, Lightspeed Dude. Lightspeed Dude has been because we talked about it briefly, but I've been doing a lot of gaming lately, streaming,
Gaming.
playing some games online, and Lightspeed Dude has been there for almost all of them, coming in and playing. And when I was playing the game Cuphead, he was giving me a lot of tips about how to beat it. So, hello, Lightspeed Dude. Welcome welcome to the sit down, and we're here with the
So
Liz and Katie Marnoch.
So is Lightspeed Dude your video game equivalent to the Monarchy, watching the sit down weekly?
Yeah, I think so.
I
He's
guess
coming
so.
for my title, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's okay.
Gotta watch out.
I know. They're gonna start
Yeah.
watching your video gaming.
Yeah.
That could be true. Yeah, he is.
I mean, you should.
Yeah. Yeah, the gaming's pretty fun. I mean, I don't know. You have to be into video games. I don't know if you guys are much into video games. But,
It's stressful. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I
we-
watched.
That's about it.
I watched Scott play like once, and I think it was the last time I tuned in. I was watching, and I'm like, oh my god, this is stressing me out. I need to turn it off.
oh yeah,
He kept losing.
we were playing Brawlhalla. Brawlhalla, it's like a fighting game. It's like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo. I don't know if you guys are or not.
Yeah.
So it's that similar layout. Like, it's, the characters are very small and the map is big and everybody's jumping around and you're trying to knock the other people off the edge. But it's fun. It's a free game and it's like cross-platform, so you can play it on PC, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and you can fight people all over the world. And it's been fun. I've been having like just live streams where I'll just invite people in. Like, I'll make a private room on the stream, and then there's a code people can enter to join the room, and people just come in and we just all fight each other and chat, and it's just it's a good time. It's a good time.
I was talking about Cuphead, but I mean that sounds interesting too. I should tune into
Oh, yeah.
that one.
Cuphead is another. Cuphead's like a one. Actually, I think it's a two-player game as well, but it's mainly a one-player game that's also very. I mean, Cuphead is one where I must have died 1,000 times in that game.
Dying.
Yeah, over and over and over and over again.
It was stressful.
Yeah, it was, and I'm still playing it because I beat the game, but then there's the option of expert mode where you can basically beat it again at a higher difficulty, and so I'm going through that again now.
Why would you do that to yourself?
That's a good.
Yeah.
Do you guys? I don't know are you guys gamers at all? Do you guys, or did you used to, or do you ever play video games?
We seriously played some hardcore Wii when we were kids.
Yep.
And we've
Oh, nice.
actually just whipped it back out for isolation.
Yeah.
So we've been playing Mario Kart. We've been playing, I mean, we're not gamers per se,
No,
but
definitely not, but-
that's the closest.
Killing time.
Yeah. Mario Kart's
Yeah.
about.
Wii Sports Resort.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's how you go on
It's
vacation
what
in
we had.
isolation.
We're
guys.
just kind of digging up what we had from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool. I mean, the Wii is an awesome system. I mean, so
Mhm.
I used to have one. Does your Wii? I can't remember. Is it the Wii that it's connected to Wi-Fi, so you can like download additional games? Is that an option, or was that later on the Wii U or something? I can't remember.
That's Wii U. We have like the original,
Yeah.
where it's
it-
just the games.
probably from like 2010. I don't know what year it's from.
No, that's
Like when it first came out.
We got it when I was like 7. So
Yeah,
like,
but that was the first one we had.
Oh yeah, Wii U came out like when I was a bit older. So
Anyways.
anyway,
This is not
regardless, we have the original.
Cool. We just got a Nintendo Switch. I picked one up
Ooh.
and
That's pop.
I've only played it a little bit, but I think that's mainly now because I randomly started, live streaming gaming, and that's all been on PC. But I have the new Zelda game, so I am excited to play that. I just haven't got into it yet, but I'm excited.
Were you one of those people that were lined up outside EV Games and got in trouble from the what's his name, Ford?
Yeah, no, I was not. Luckily, I had already purchased. When did I buy it? I bought it early March, like March 2nd or
So
something.
before
or whatever.
Guyana.
Yes, that's right. Right before, and so yeah, that's the thing. Like when I left for Guyana, it was like, this whole thing was this thing that was far away and like not really a big deal to anybody, and then it was like I came back in like a completely different world. It was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. guess things are really changing. Oh, Jaws Jr. 1. Hey. Good morning. Welcome to the show. We're doing our show, The Sit Down, with Scott Dion Brown. And we have our guests here today, Liz and Katie Marnoch. Hello. Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Is anyone here from the Marnochy?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
They'll be hearing from me later if they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys are
Monarchy,
tuning in,
at?
say hello. Say hello in the chat.
Where's Uncle Scott?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of kind of all this Corona business, I did one thing that I thought was nice to point out is so in the UK they have the NHS, the National Health Service, and they were looking for volunteers to help out. They wanted younger, healthy people who could volunteer to help take care of the elderly, like say deliver things, and just because obviously the people that are most at risk are people who are either immunocompromised or something like that, or older, right? And so they put out an ask for volunteers, and I think they were hoping to get something like 200,000, and they ended up with close to 500,000 people. So
Wow.
yeah, I just thought that was really really nice to see people coming together and helping each other. That's one thing that through this tragedy has been neat to see. So that was cool. It was just I wanted to shout out all those people who are helping out their fellow human beings. It was cool.
And it's not just them, but it's also like the frontline workers. Like I have a lot of friends and family who are nurses, who are working, and it's amazing to see all of their dedication come through on social media. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of your help.
Yeah, thank you. It's honestly really crazy to go onto Facebook and see how many people that I actually know who are in healthcare, and they're sharing their stories about the experience of COVID-19, and it's kind of crazy how many people that we can personally know who are not being affected by the disease itself, but being affected by its
the whole situation.
This whole situation in general. So yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy times. We're seeing some things. I mean, I've never lived. None of us. We've never really had to experience anything like this before. So it's I don't know. It's nuts. And I'm hoping. We don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm hoping not too long, not too far. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Or I guess
as long
Regine,
as people are doing their part.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's the thing I like is that for the most part people are.
Go ahead, Scott.
Oh no, I was just that's the delay is 1 or 2 seconds, so it's really weird. But no, I'm done. What were you gonna say, Regine?
No, Scott, go ahead. Go do your ads.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we should do the ad break because we should do the ads. So ladies and gentlemen, this episode of The Sit Down is, and every episode for that matter, is made possible by, some very important people. Regine, did you know that?
I do. Did you?
Yeah, I did actually, or I just found out apparently it's brought to you by the following fantastic advertisers. Hey, Regine.
Yes, Scott.
Do you want to find out what your home is really worth?
Potentially.
Are you buying or selling a home?
Maybe after coronavirus.
Good point. But just so you guys know, when this clears up and when all that happens, then Jennifer C., Realtor at Home Life Culture Link, is here to help. Call or text Jennifer today at 647-403-8887. Don't deal with just anyone. Speak to a professional. Jennifer C. at Home Life Culture Link. To see our current listings, visit homelifeculturelink.com. The Mortgage Godfather is here to give you advice with any mortgage needs you may have, and he will shop to find you the best mortgage. Nino Sai Mecca, mortgage agent He'll give you an offer you can't refuse. He'll give you an offer you can't refuse. So find out more at mortgagegodfather.ca or call 905-604-6955. And it was brought to you by Jewelry Forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East Markham. They do custom-made jewelry, repairs, and they change watch batteries, all done on site. And I believe they're actually currently closed, obviously, for the current situation we're in. But you can find out more at jewelryforever.ca. And when they do reopen, if you tell them, well, Regine, tell them we've got an amazing deal with them right now.
Yes, if you tell them that Scott and Regine sent you after COVID-19, you will receive 15% off your purchase. That's 15%, 15.
That's amazing. 15% off. So find out more at Jewelry Forever and at jewelryforever.ca. And of course, if you'd like to be in part of the show, Regine, what can they do?
It's simple. All you have to do is email us at radioshowad. That's radioshowad@gmail.com.
That's right. Get in touch with us, and we'll set you up with an amazing advertising plan. I mean, we do the show obviously live every Sunday, and because of that, the option to personalize the ads week to week is there. So if your business has a specific event or a sale or something coming up, you can let us know, and we can make sure that the information gets out to your potential customers in real time. It's an incredible thing. It's an incredible thing. So get in touch at radioshowad@gmail.com. And actually, speaking of that, because what's the date now? We're on the 29th. Tomorrow, the 30th, Jewelry Forever is actually running a draw on their Instagram. I saw them post that. So you have to go follow them. I believe it's just at Jewelry Forever, right?
Yep.
I believe. Yeah. So go find Jewelry Forever on Instagram and join their contest. They're doing a giveaway. So get on there and find out. And there you go. That's the real-time advertising working. You can go win yourself something. Follow Jewelry Forever on Instagram. And like I said, get in touch. radioshowad@gmail.com. And we're back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. And we're back, of course, with Elizabeth and Katie Marnoch. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, so this week I actually did a live with Liz on her Instagram, and it was so much fun. And I know both Katie and Scott were there. Liz, where did you come up with Live with Liz?
Well, I was kind of just sitting in my house in isolation, and I was trying to think of ways to prepare for my pageant, and ways that I can kind of communicate with all my pageant friends. And so I put out just a video on my pageant account saying, hey, if anyone wants to come jump on a live with me, I'll give you some questions. We can talk about your preparations for a pageant or pageant experience, kind of anything at all. And I actually got a really, really huge response, much larger than I anticipated.
Yeah.
So I was able to get a bunch of girls from not only Canada, but girls from the US and the IUM system as well. I even had a contestant from Portugal and Portugal Galaxy come and hop on and do a live with me. So it's been really cool to chat with everyone. And it's also been really, really great practice. Like me and Regine were chatting on our live. We were saying that these little live streams are great practice for interview and just using your communication skills. So, I mean, you have to stay sharp even in isolation. So I'm preparing at all times.
Have you thought of having a pageant guy on the show?
Pageant, I mean, that would be great. I'm kind of the current Scott. I mean, I'm honestly open to having anyone on the show, so just kind of checking my DMs a lot and seeing if anyone's interested. So yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah. Regine just threw me in there. I would happily come on if you want to. I'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, we can talk later. That'd be fun. I mean, it's basically what we're doing right now, pretty much.
Yeah.
So how have you found? What are some things because you basically you started a talk show basically. What have you found? What have you learned about interviewing people?
Well, I'm used to being the interviewee, like in answering questions, so it's definitely different on the opposite side, asking questions. First of all, coming up with questions, so I kind of jot down notes prior to doing the interview, and then I always try and make questions from like their answer and pull it out so they can like elaborate on what they said. But I found it super hard, and I'm not bad at it, but I think it's something that's like a learning process. But it's also interesting to see like the other side of interview, so I can kind of like know maybe how the judges feel a little bit more, and hopefully that might help me out in interview. But it's been a really cool experience. I have a lot of learning to do. So yeah.
Well, you're doing great.
Oh, thank you.
You've taken to it quite naturally, I think, and it was fun. It was fun watching it, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of the episodes. So it's pretty cool.
Great, thank you. There's lots more to come.
There's a lot, yeah.
A lot. I'm kind of worried.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was taking a look at your Instagram there, and you've got a whole because you basically got all sort of the future dates all sort of lined up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I originally, like I said, I had way more people than I originally anticipated. So I was like, oh, I'll just do like one a day for like a week, and then like I had like 20 people in my DMs. I was like, okay, well, I want everyone to have the opportunity to come on and chat, and I want to talk with everyone as well. So it's just become my day-to-day life. I have 3 today, so yeah, it's gonna be busy, but it's good to keep busy in isolation, and yeah.
Did you say you have 3?
I have 3 today. Yes, I had 3 yesterday too, but.
Wow.
Yeah. I have a lot.
And the thing about it too is because Elizabeth's done so many different systems and has traveled so much. She knows so many different people who are involved in pageants from literally now all over the world through Galaxy International and a couple other international pageants. So yeah, it's just a great resource for everyone to kind of connect. So that's been really cool.
Yeah. My main focus was to get all systems involved, as many as possible, not just Galaxy or just the ones that I participated in. So that not only like as much as I'm a pageant contestant, I'm really a pageant fan. So I love following different, I love following all systems. So it's been really cool to chat with different people and kind of get the insider perspective of every system. And so I'm hoping to get more variety as well on the show.
Awesome. Well, people, if you want to find it here, I'll put up your Instagram again there. So the episodes are happening there on IUM Canada Teen, right?
Yeah.
There you go. And yeah, so you said you have 3 of them today. So you're not doing it. So there's not like a set schedule. You're kind of just doing them whenever you can get people in. Is that how it is, or? Yeah,
I figured right now a lot of people are sitting at home, not doing too much. So it's been pretty open for everyone's schedule. So might as well get a bunch in while we can before hopefully the virus slows down. But people end up going back to work and stuff. So trying to get as many people in.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I've been. Yeah. That's the thing. I guess it's a good point. Everybody's kind of there's this thirst for entertainment now because everybody's just at home streaming. In fact, did you hear they had to? I think a lot of the internet companies and I think Netflix has announced that they're going to lower the quality of their video streams for a little bit, and I think YouTube is doing the same. And it's for the same reason, is that because there's so much strain being put on because there's so much more. Everyone's working from home, and everybody's basically watching, streaming something pretty much all the time. So, there's like a thirst for entertainment. So it makes sense, I mean, people are at home and they'll be like, oh, hey,
shut down.
I heard they were doing that in UK. I don't know if they're doing it here.
Yeah, it might change. It might be different what they're doing in region to region, right? Yeah, I think that's true. I think YouTube is doing it in the US. I'm not actually sure if they're doing it here or not. I don't know. But it's happening. Oh, Maria Brown in the chat. Hello. Good morning. Thank you for...
Good morning, Mrs. Brown. Yeah.
There you go. There's so anyway, that's cool that you're doing the show, and yeah. Good luck with it. It's it can only go up from there. That's pretty cool.
We can attest to that.
Well, I mean that's the thing. I mean,
how about you, Katie? Are you gonna do?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Katie. Sorry, the delay.
This delay, man. Katie, are you gonna do a chat with Katie?
Oh my gosh. I think I've maybe stepped on her toes enough for now with the pageant stuff, so I'll give her some space to breathe, I think.
And then you've been doing your Canada Galaxy challenges for your pageant, so that's been keeping you busy.
Yes.
And all the Galaxy girls busy, so.
Yeah, it's super fun to see everyone's posts every day, so you get to know people. It's actually been kind of fun because of the whole situation. We recently just started our group chat for our division for the national.
Oh, yay!
It's really given us an opportunity to kind of get to know each other a bit better. So hi, if anyone's watching. Yeah, and that's what makes it so much fun when you get there too, is getting to know the girls beforehand. So I'm really excited about that. So true.
Are you like your sister who stalks all these girls, or are you just?
Oh, yes.
Might be worse.
We do it together.
We do it together. Hobby. We like to know people prior to going to a competition.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a stalker way, but kind of. But
Come on,
we just
Liz.
want to get to know people so that when we get there, we can introduce ourselves and chat and make it, because such a huge part of it, Regine, is making friends, building the community, sisterhood, and all that.
Yeah.
And so knowing people's names and maybe knowing a little fact about them helps.
Yeah, especially because for Galaxy, it's one weekend and you're so busy all the time. You don't get a ton of time to talk and really get to know people. So if you come in knowing, oh, you did this pageant, we might have these people in common, or we have this thing in common, it makes it so much easier to get to know people and kind of form those friendships. So that's what makes it super fun.
Do you do what Liz does and search people up from 2015 to?
Oh yeah.
Did you watch my
We
Miss
do
Universe
it
one too?
together. Anything that she does, I do too. So.
Anything that Regine's competed in, I've seen, I've found on the internet.
Even the one in the Philippines?
There's a lot of Regine content out there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, hard enough.
Oh boy.
That's actually a really good strategy in terms of I guess it gets the icebreaker thing out of the way, right? Because imagine, like you said, you're only there for a weekend. So suddenly, if you don't know anything about these people, it's you arrive, and then there's that awkward moment where you kind of all have to meet each other and oh, hi, what's your name? And oh, blah, 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 blah. But by kind of getting to know them in advance, it kind of skips over that when you actually meet each other. You already have stuff to talk about. You know a few things about each other. It's a good way to approach it, actually. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I never really
and
thought
you're already
about
worrying
that.
about the. So you wanna focus on the competition and what you've been preparing for months, sometimes years, and so if you can reach out to them in advance, it's always good. And it always makes the experience so much better. Whenever I've been able to have friends, people backstage helping you out and just having a good time, it really, really makes the whole experience that much better. And that's what the whole point of a pageant is not as much as winning a crown, but it's having that really fun weekend experience and growing your platform and people you're talking to and your networking and all that jazz. So, yeah.
That's very cool. Actually, I wanted to, it's kind of a general question, but Liz, you've been in quite a few pageants, and so what is it about pageants that keeps you coming back? What do you love about them?
Well, I started when I was 10, so 9 years ago.
Whoa.
Yeah, almost half my life.
Unfortunately, that is not available on YouTube.
Thank goodness. But yeah, I think for me, what keeps me coming back is I've seen the growth from the beginning to now, and the way that I've improved, and I'm able to see my mistakes, my flaws from other previous competitions, and I try and work and fix on them. And that's the beauty of pageants. It's always the self-development and growing. And I love seeing that development. So that's why I keep going back. And it's always just a fun time. I get to meet people like Regine, all these people that I consider now really close friends of mine. And it's just kind of my hobby. I basically treat it as a sport. I practice every day, and it's just kind of something that gets me up in the morning and gets me motivated to work on a project. So
cool. Do you remember what it was like being in your very first pageant? Do you remember how it felt?
Yes, I remember. I was actually, my first pageant was in the middle of a mall, actually.
Woodbine Mall, yeah.
Woodbine Mall. Whew. And it was scary because I had to say this whole speech, and I was preparing this speech for weeks, and I wanted to say it perfectly. And when I actually got up onto the mic, I missed a whole section, and I was freaking out because I was 10, right? So, I mean, these random people have no clue what's going on. They're watching you. But I was able to kind of pick the part that I missed into another part of my speech, and I made it work. And I was so impressed with myself. I got off stage, I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. And I was terrified, but it was just that big confidence boost that I could do this in front of all these people. I messed up, but no one knew. And I think that was pretty good for me as a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. In fact, it's cool that you point that out, because I find that's a common thread with not just pageant people, but like just performers in general, is that they go up on stage and like I'll talk with somebody, say, you know, whatever, after they performed, and they'll come out and they'll feel really bad about, oh, I messed up this, I messed up that. But they don't, one of the things you realize later on as a performer is that most of the time the audience has no idea you messed up unless you kind of let them know. So a huge part of it is just, you know, in live performance, you just sort of got to keep going, and things inevitably go wrong because it is live, and that can be a thing that happens, and sort of just learning to go with the flow. And I think the pageant world, it's a live performance. There's a lot of shared elements to those two things. So that's pretty cool that you learned that even in your very first pageant. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So that was at Woodbine Mall. Is that the one in like near Woodbine Racetrack? That one?
Yeah. Yeah, right beside there. I was terrified, but it was good. It was a cool experience.
Yeah, it is weird because it's just people who were at the mall who are the audience.
Right.
So usually at a it's like, okay, well, it's going to be like my fellow contestants, friends and family, and they get what's happening. And there it's like, it's really just anyone, and they don't necessarily know what's going on, and or also, have an appreciation for what you're doing.
Other people's friends and family aren't paying attention to you. They're looking through the directory, waiting to see when their contestant's coming on. So,
or they're shopping,
or they're doing something. So, yeah. But yeah, I remember it was quite nerve-wracking, but it was kind of the adrenaline rush. It was like, yes, I did it, and then I came back and more and more and more. And I didn't win that pageant at all. Like, I did not place very high at all, but I think I knew that I was hooked on pageants when I basically got last, and I was like, I gotta come back for more, which is shocking because I used to be maybe a sore loser, you could call it, and I think that's also helped me with like my sportsmanship, I guess, because now if I lose, I can see it as like a more of a learning experience, which is good to learn. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, those mall pageants I've hosted, I can't remember, at least one of them I've hosted. And yeah, the atmosphere, like you mentioned, the atmosphere is totally different, because in a theater setting with tickets, everyone knows what's going on because people paid to be there, and they're fans or whatever. But the mall, it's different because you've got some of your people there, but most of the time the pageant is almost trying to get people to, you're almost fighting for their attention, right? You're trying to be like, hey, look at us and see this thing. And there's no reason why they would cheer if they don't want to. So it's a very different dynamic. That's cool. That was your very first. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Woodbine Mall.
I remember I went to one of their pageants and I judged it. Yeah. And I saw you there.
Yeah, we were
both of you there.
We were both there, throwing it back to the old days.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh, it's crazy.
Well, no, I've competed in a mall pageant as well, but it was a Chinese mall, and that was more interesting than competing at Woodbine Mall, I'll tell you that much.
The crowd was a little tougher, or what was it?
Or the mall was either empty or it filled up because there was the pageant happening, and it's, again, you don't know the people that are there. And for us, it was like a makeshift dressing room. So it was even more eerie because you never know who can it's like curtains, right?
Oh, yeah. We had like an empty store as our it was like
at least you had an empty store. We had like a man-made dressing room.
Oh no. Wow.
Just like some curtains hanging from they put up some like metal poles and hung curtains from them type thing?
Yeah, but then it makes you wonder, like, okay, well, where are the security cameras in this building?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True. Oh my gosh.
Actually, I forgot about that. That's right. That's the whole other part of it, is that you're putting a live event in a venue that really isn't made for it, and so some places do it better than others. I mean, even not pageants. I've hosted a couple events in malls where they'll have like their like, actually, one thing that I've been doing recently, they have the Bridalwood Mall. They do the Chinese New Year celebrations, and they bring me in to sometimes sing a song and MC. And it's the same type of situation where luckily they usually have a vacant store that they can use, but otherwise everybody's kind of trying to make the show work in a location that's not necessarily made for doing live. It adds a whole extra layer of chaos to the whole thing, I guess. So yeah, must have been interesting, intimidating to being 10 years old doing a pageant in that type of environment.
Yeah.
Did you at least get to go to the amusement park afterwards?
No, I went straight home because it actually went really late, and I live 2 hours away. So, and I was tired. But I always go past it. I'm like, that looks kind of fun.
Yeah, you've done a couple in there now. So.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I took a walk through. It's kind of a neat mall because it's got that amusement park in the middle. It's very random. I had to fundraise there a couple times when I used to do fundraising. I worked one of those. I was those guys in the mall who like try to get you to stop and donate to charity in the mall. I was doing that for a while. That was you. And Woodbine was one of the ones they sent us to quite often. I remember it was such a strange looking mall. It's not like any other mall.
Very
really.
strange. Yeah.
Woodbine Center, I think it's called.
Isn't it Woodbine Mall?
I don't think it's called Woodbine Mall. I think it's got a more fancy name. I think it's Woodbine Center.
Shopping center?
Isn't it
Woodbine.
like or something?
I do not know.
What'd you say? Woodbine something else?
I thought it was like fair, but that might be talking about like the amusement park, isn't it?
Fairview?
Woodbine
No, not Fairview.
That's the one here.
It's like Fair Fantasy or something. I think that's the park though.
Yeah. Although you may be right.
I don't remember that much. It's been a while.
It's got a more unique name. You're right. I don't think it is something so straightforward. I think you're right about that. Anyways, memories. Everybody.
You two are very cute.
Did we talk about? Yeah, we talked about a little bit off the top, but you're involved with International United Miss. I just want to make sure. Was there anything else you wanted to say about it? I know that's kind of your next one coming up, right?
Yeah, so I'm competing at International United Miss, which is another U.S.-based international pageant. And so I'm hopefully going to be traveling to New Jersey. It's in Atlantic City in July and competing for the title of International United Miss Teen. So I'm really excited. There's really cool categories. We're doing an on-stage speech, and then from the speech, we're going straight to interview. And the interview is based off of what we say in our speech, which is nothing that I've done before. So I'm excited to try that out. And then we're doing the classic evening gown, and they call it high fashion runaway, but people might know it as fun fashion or fashion wear. And so that's always a really fun one. So I've been preparing my wardrobe and all that, and trying to meet a lot of the IM girls, especially through my live stream, actually. That's been a great way to meet them. And yeah, I'm really excited to hopefully go. So far, it hasn't been postponed. There hasn't been any cancellation things, but
cool.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never seen a pageant where you give a speech before. Is that a fairly common thing? I mean, I've never hosted one that had that sort of element in it.
It's common in a lot of U.S. Scholarship style pageants, they're called. It's similar to Galaxy, but Galaxy doesn't do that. I think it's more of a newer thing that they're trying to do because they're trying to make interviews more personalized. Galaxy makes interviews more personalized by writing an interview form prior to competing so that the judges can look and ask about it. Because I've been in pageant interviews where they've had like nothing and they just ask you, what's your favorite color, or very general stuff, and I don't think it gets to like the root of the contestant. I think directors are now seeing that, so they're trying to make it more personalized, and I think it's also a good competition to show your skill on stage and public speaking like that, because interview is one thing, but speaking on stage is another. So to be able to have both these components, I think is really gonna hopefully make the winner a really well-rounded contestant. Hopefully it's me, but we'll see. We'll see how I go. But yeah.
That's awesome. And so and you said the interview portion happens it's related to the speech that you give.
Yes.
But so how would does the interviewer, did they get your speech in advance so they could prepare questions? Because I would almost be like, that means like a large part of the interview, it's almost contingent on how good the interviewer is. And this is happening on stage as well?
Yes, this is happening on stage. And so while we're saying our speech, we're supposed to fill it with as much content as we can. We have, I believe it's 45 seconds to say our speech. And the judges will be taking notes during the time while they're judging as well, taking notes of little things that we say. And then immediately that division will be going into interview with the same judges that interviewed us on stage. So yeah, I don't know how it works. That's how I've been told that's how it's going to go. So I'm really excited to try it out. And I actually really like doing speeches at pageants, as you can tell from my 10-year-old self. We're going to bring that back. And yeah, I think that'll be really cool, and hopefully interview goes well, because interview has always been my number one category. It's usually where I score the best, and it's also a really big portion, so I'm really hoping that continues, even with the new twist to the interview portion.
You'll do fine.
Thank
I have so
you.
much faith in you.
Yeah, I think I'm not worried for that part at all. I think, well, we can already see. I mean, the fact that you thought, oh, a lot of people when they've got free time don't decide to start an interview show, but I think, I think you'll I think you'll be okay.
And I love creating random things. I do that all the time, and most of the time they usually don't pan out, which kind of sucks. But this one actually did. So we're gonna go with it full force. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised I did something like this. This is classic me, just doing some random thing online. So I'm really glad that it's worked out, and I'm really thankful for everyone who's offered their time to come speak with me.
You're welcome. No, I'm kidding.
Thanks.
Katie, are you excited for Galaxy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird the second time around, because my first one, it really was just to kind of get my feet wet and see what it was going to be like for me. And then this time around, I'm really giving it my all. So I've been working really hard, and hopefully it pays off.
We're training her to be the best second crown in the household.
Yeah.
So excited.
Well, so this is your second time doing Galaxy. Are there any things that you've, I don't know, observed from your experience in the first one that you'll carry into the second one?
I think one of the things that I did that was the most beneficial the first time around was really getting all my appearances in. So I'm going to keep that up, which is kind of tricky with the circumstances right now, but trying my best to do that. And hopefully I'll still have a bit of time before, because it's not till September, so hopefully things will kind of be a bit more back up and running before that starts. And I think just more practicing a bit more on stage beforehand. That was something I kind of neglected a bit, just because logistically it's kind of a hard thing to do, unless you go to like a studio or something. So hopefully I'll get a chance to do that and not twist my ankle before the show.
Yes.
We both twisted our ankle the same way before the pageant.
Yeah.
At my nationals, when I won, I actually fell really, really, really hard, like an hour before, and really hurt my ankle. But that was not good. And then Kay did the same thing. Yeah. And so I had like lower heels. So if you actually see, she's wearing lower heels in like the opening number.
But I mean, she's so tall.
Exactly. You really can't tell. So it's okay. But I thought it was so funny that we both, not funny, but
it
wasn't funny. It was not funny. It's not funny either time. But looking back, it's it's just a coincidence. Yeah.
Well, no problem this time.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of doing again live events. I mean, things can go wrong, things can malfunction, and you just roll with it. So is that part of like you? So you had lower heels standing by already, like just in case you might need them. Or?
So they were Elizabeth's shoes that she just had that she brought because she has a couple pairs. She has a couple pairs of pageant. Well, when you remember to bring them. But anyways, yeah. So she had those extra ones that were in the same size. So she's like, just try wearing these. They're a little shorter, and they were fine. But my feet were like kind of slipping out of them, so I had to switch into my normal shoes for the rest. But yeah, made it work.
And falling in pageant shoes is really deathly because when you do that, it's first of all terrifying because you're pretty far off the ground. But then second, the pain of the actual like ankle.
Like how high they are.
Yeah.
You don't feel it for a while.
You don't feel it for hours, and then when you do feel it, it's like lasting for weeks. The pain.
Yeah. So my ankle was like all like swollen and it was bruised and
it wasn't good.
It was not good.
Oh no.
But she still did great.
Yeah,
So,
she did.
Tried my best.
Fourth runner-up, right?
Yeah.
Fourth runner-up.
For her first pageant, I mean, kudos to you, Katie.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to improve upon that next time. So.
Yeah, that's one thing the pageant shoes guys don't have to. It's one part we don't really have to ever worry about.
Yeah.
I mean, I think guys have it easier in
and it's not
most parts of
fair.
the pageant. Yeah. Yeah, it's not fair.
Like when we
And I-
MC, like when,
Yeah.
sorry.
No.
Like
go.
when Scott and I MC, I'll be in heels and I'll be like backstage taking my shoes off. I'm like, ugh, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Backstage
I
when you
mean,
take off the shoes.
Oh yeah.
Lindsay has a hilarious photo of me. I don't know if she actually took it or she said she was gonna take it, but it's me right after I finished evening gown, and I was in that big poopy white ball.
Yeah,
gown.
you took your
And
shoes
so I'm like
off.
squatting down, lifting up the tool, and I'm like off stage, and Lindsay's on the other side. And she said it was hilarious. I looked like crazy, but like that's so
I
pageant.
mean, Caitlin took her shoes off.
Yeah, you need to take them off.
Yeah. I mean, if your dress is long enough.
True.
it's
That's
why I
all
make sure.
around.
It's why I make sure that I never. Actually, that's not true.
Wear
I don't
heels?
ever. No, I was gonna say I never complain, but the truth is I do complain anyway. Like if I've been hosting for a while and my feet start to like hurt, because they do. I mean,
Hurt.
standing the whole time, but I always make sure that like I know that whatever I'm feeling, it's a little bit worse for say my co-host or for all the contestants. So I just keep it to myself because you know.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, Regine knows. Actually, I probably will mention to Regine. It's like, oh yeah, my back. Oh, I've been standing so long. My feet. Oh, this is so hard
Yep.
for me, Regine. Oh.
Mistake.
And then I have these shoes on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are
Yep.
all fun.
I love how much you're
Yeah.
sitting here, but I mean,
Yeah.
Ready?
Always ready.
Had it ready. I'm having trouble seeing the chat. I don't know if you guys, Regine, can you see the chat if anybody's talking in there? Because
my
I don't know
chat's
why.
not open.
Chat.
All right. Well.
I don't think anything new.
Okay. Good. Because I don't know why it's
Well-
for whatever reason the thing's not loading very well. But I don't know.
I can't see what is on YouTube, but Scott, can you take me off screen for a second? I need to charge my phone.
Yes, I've taken Regine
A live
off the
show.
screen. Yeah. So, what's people who are just tuning in, we're here with Elizabeth and Katie Marnoch, pageant sisters, and interesting, fun people. So we talked a little bit earlier about how we're all adjusting to isolation. So have you guys been able to, like me, I've been taking, every day I'll go out for a walk and just kind of avoid people, but like go outside. Are you guys able to go outside at all, or what kind of stuff are you guys getting
Get
up
back.
to?
I just generally really like going for drives. So we've been doing a bit of that. It's actually crazy because around our neighborhood, there's so many people out walking.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy because I've never seen that before. And it's families and individuals, and everyone's kind of keeps their distance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never seen so many people out and about walking. So
And we live in a neighborhood where that would be pretty common. Like,
Yeah.
we live right in the center of like an elementary school.
Yeah.
area, so there's lots of kids, but like we never see anyone out. It's always dead silent. But now with the isolation, everyone's like the most busy I've seen it ever, which is good. People are getting their fresh air. So
Actually, I have seen quite a few memes like that where it's like it'll show like people before, you know, isolation, and everybody's just in the house on their phones, and then it's like in the next picture is like people during isolation, everybody's running around outside because it's almost like nobody felt the need to take their walks at this time, you know, during the day normally, but now it's like
now you're
but I guess
to.
you know, we're all cooped up inside, so everybody's kind of feels the need to get some fresh air. So
it's the only thing you can do, right? Like
yeah, I find being inside all day after a while, you almost start to feel like I find just getting outside and breathing in, like feeling wind and breathing fresh air, you feel better. Like you kind of feel a bit I don't know, stale after being inside all day. So tends to happen.
Stale.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure the right word to describe it, but stale. I just kind of feel like you're.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know if it's just breathing the recycled air or like whatever it is. I don't know. It just feels I don't know. Feels
all
weird.
The windows.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. My headphones.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, we're hearing you. And I think the people are. I think there's. Can you hear me? Well, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think, Regine, we should wrap this episode up?
I don't know, girls.
Is there anything you wanted to chat about? I mean, we're just here to chat. We're excited to be on the sit down, so.
I was telling Scott, you guys have watched like 90% of our episodes, so it makes sense.
Right.
There's especially when you guys have like Galaxy people on and stuff. That's a lot of content for us.
So much content. Yeah, for our preparations.
Yes.
Very good.
That makes sense.
To get to know people, right? Yeah. Like.
Well, we have someone from Galaxy coming on again next week. It's her first time on the sit down, and I'm really excited. Can we announce it, Scott?
I'm fine with it. Do you want to? I'm fine with it. Yeah, you can announce it if you want to. Yeah.
So next week we have Ms. Galaxy Canada, all the way from BC, joining in. So I'm excited to have Anmal on here.
That's so exciting! And that's gonna be really fun.
It is.
I knew she was flying in. So I was wondering. I was like, "Are you gonna go and sit down?"
She was supposed to. We were supposed to have all 7 of us on the show this week, but with coronavirus,
that would have been a fun trip.
Yeah, that's right. We were going to do it all in person in the studio.
It's still video chatting.
Yeah.
Yep. Feels
it's
weird.
Important to keep video chatting with the Galaxy team.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys got to stay in touch, and I don't know. It feels so strange not going up. Like I haven't been to the studio in well, I guess now a couple of weeks. It just feels weird not going up there, and I had this routine going every Sunday morning. It was just like, I mean, this is you know, good, but it doesn't feel as I don't know. Yeah. It's not the same, Regine. It's not the same.
It's not. Like, well, for me, I was off the show for 2 weeks when I went to the Philippines. So having that time off and then coming back on for one episode and then not coming back again, it is interesting. It's a weird, I think because we've been doing it for 72 weeks now, it's very off not going to the studio, doing it in your bedroom and virtually.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
It's just not the same. But you know, I guess everybody's making adjustments. We've all got to make adjustments. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. So yeah, you guys have seen quite a few episodes. So
what's your favorite?
Oh yeah, okay, sure, yeah, favorite episode.
I know my favorite. I remember when we first found the sit down, we were watching Team Galaxy Toronto.
Yeah.
And you had a bunch of them on, and that's my favorite because it was really fun watching, like seeing all the girls. It's a good one.
And all of Team Toronto on.
Yeah, you had all of you guys there, so that was really awesome.
Also, the one with Cindy's great.
The one with Cindy's also good.
Yeah, have to shout her out.
And Angel, and there's so many.
Yeah,
I mean.
Okay, how about non-pageant related ones? Which one's your favorite?
I like bring on bands, like, and they have the live performances. I think that's really cool. And you guys do that. I really like watching those because that's good on Sunday morning with breakfast, fun listening to
Some
bands.
music.
So
Yeah. Also, the live glitch. That was very entertaining. It was very entertaining.
Me and my sister, me and my sister. Well, I was actually in my dorm in Windsor, and I was watching. I was like, the sit down's like kind of late today. It's like 25
Oh, yeah.
minutes late. And I texted Regine, I was like, she goes, we're not on. That was hilarious.
So what happened, Liz, is you and Mr. Brown both
Yes.
messaged us being
Right.
like, hey, what's going on? And we're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 'cause-
That's so
yeah, that's the thing. So for people who don't like, so the chat, right, is already live. Like, for example, as soon as I make the page, which I make a few days before the show, right? So obviously we can promote it and all that stuff. But like, so the page is there, and the chat, you can go in and type in the chat at any time. And if I have the chat thing open, well, then I'll see it, right? Although right now, for whatever reason, it's not working. I'm not sure why. But in fact, let me see if I can get to the bottom of it. Anyway, so I saw people messaging, and I'm like, okay, good. We're good to go here. And so then we started doing the show, and we're having a really nice conversation with Nina Kiri, and
Yeah.
assuming we're live. But basically, what had happened is I didn't hit the start streaming button. I hit the start recording button. So we were recording the video. Yeah, exactly. We were recording the video, which is why I ended up re-uploading the whole episode afterwards. But because of that, we were seeing the thing going, and it said like, oh yeah, the timer's going, and I can see that we've been on, but you guys weren't seeing anything, so you were just like,
Great show.
yeah.
So funny.
Actually, weirdly, in a weird way, actually, that episode has kind of become my favorite as well, because you see me go through the entire kind of
emotions.
range of emotions. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so because the thing is also that show especially was I had built up a lot of it in my mind, right? Because so Nina that we were having on, I mean, she was probably one of the most famous guests we've had, one of anyway, right? She's on The Handmaid's Tale, and so I kind of was really I really wanted it to go great, and so I did spend a lot of time prepping everything.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
but I think that also kind of worked against me, because I had spent so much time prepping everything that like when it came down to the moment, I'm like, okay, great, I've got everything set, so all I got to do is just push this one thing. And because of that, it was like, I guess maybe I missed stuff that I should have just regularly checked, but I kind of overthought everything,
Yeah.
And so, and that's why you see me in this episode where I'm like, at the beginning, I'm all happy and like going and like, yeah, we're doing this episode. And then you could see I'm like genuinely embarrassed.
I loved watching it back. I remember when you uploaded it, I was like, Regine, I'm gonna go watch it back. And I was texting her, and it was so funny.
It was funny, but to see what Scott went through emotionally, I was
Right.
like, dude, you gotta calm down.
Yeah. Entertain
That's the thing.
viewers.
Yes, and that's that's the most important thing, being that it's entertaining. It was very, because I especially want the technical stuff to go well, and I can tell it does. When it doesn't go well, it does annoy me in a way, and so I've noticed that about myself, where it's difficult for me to like not show that that's affecting me. So
Yeah.
it was
The show
interesting
must go
for me.
on, Scott.
The show must go on, and that's the other thing that I like about that episode, is that not only is it affecting me, but like you guys, like the guests, Nina and Regine, notice that it's affecting me, and so then you guys kind of are trying to like pick me up again, and so it just adds this
It
whole
wasn't
other level of.
working.
Yeah, but no, it did work, because I come back by the end, like it kind of builds back up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it kind of made it it was an interesting study in like emotional range and all this business. I don't know. It was cool.
Sure. Yeah.
So making lemonade out of lemons or whatever. So that's my favorite episodes, and so there you go. One thing that's annoying is we can't do the Barrel of Monkeys World Championship.
I was thinking about that.
I wish we had the game here. We had done it,
Yeah.
but we can't. That's too bad.
One day we're gonna have to, in the future, whenever all of this is moved on, we'll get you guys as guests in the studio, and then we'll do it then.
Oh yeah, at nationals, we'll just bring the barrel of monkeys.
There you go.
Yeah.
They'll drive.
And you can
2
still find
hours
that.
just to do barrel of monkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're gonna have to figure out some kind of final as well, right? Like, I know we still have, obviously, whenever it comes back, we're gonna have it again as a regular segment. But then, also, I've got to figure out how I want to structure, like the top contenders or whatever. Like, there needs to be like a championship or something, some way to kind of put a bow on the whole competition. So
Yeah.
that's something we'll have to figure out. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I mean,
Well,
we could do it like your 1,000
yep.
subscriber. Could do like your 1,000 subscriber indie, but monkeys in a barrel.
That's true. Like, you're thinking making it like, we could even make it like so that like that episode will basically just be the tournament. Is that what you mean? Like, it'll be a whole episode of just barrel of monkeys playing?
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that could be interesting. That could be very interesting.
Because there's a lot of people tied for first right now.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. And nobody, like, you and I were kind of alone at first for a while, and nobody has surpassed that. Like, I think it's 8 monkeys, I think, is the highest. And it's nobody has been able to grab that 9th monkey. So it's pretty interesting.
I feel like these two would.
You think?
I'm pretty competitive.
Well, time will tell, people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Time will tell. And I don't know if you guys, again, in the chat, I keep reloading the application, but it's just not, doesn't seem to be working. So if you guys are saying stuff, I'm sorry I can't respond to the things you're saying. In fact, let me see if I can bring it up on my phone. I just feel safer having it there. And yep, we're still live. That's good. Oh.
Good.
That's good.
Oh. Yeah. It's good to check it. That's the thing. It's I'll always, because of that, I'm always going to be paranoid now that that we're not live. I'm like, oh my God, it's happening again.
The Philippines, like when I went to the Philippines, I remember like telling your brother, make sure he's live. Don't forget.
Yeah. It's a recurring nightmare that will never go away. It will never go away.
Yeah.
And I find the same thing happens, like, even when I'm gaming now. Like, I'm constantly like flipping over to the phone just to see, like, am I playing? Am I still here? Can they still see me? So it's given me a complex, is what's happened. It's given me a complex.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, that we ended up talking quite a bit longer. I mean, I mentioned a while ago, like, oh, should we end the episode? And then we talk for a whole other, 20 minutes or something. That's kind of neat.
That's what we're here for.
But I don't know. What do you think? This is pretty good. Do you think we should wrap? Now I think we can probably wrap things up. What do you guys think? Regine, how are you feeling?
I'm good with whatever you guys choose to do.
Yeah, I think it's good.
All
I
right,
think we covered everything. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, let's do the get some user stuff. Where can people find you guys?
I'm on Instagram. My pageant account is Miss Galaxy London, so you can follow that to see how I do. Yeah. And my pageant account is IUM Canada Teen, and my personal is liz.marnoch. Marnoch's Marnoch.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, actually, in fact, I don't have Katie. I have your other one up there, but let me change it. I'm gonna put your other one. Say what yours is again.
It's Miss Galaxy London.
MISS?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or MISSGALAXYLONDON, right? Miss Galaxy. I know I just spelled it, but I want to. Okay, good. So now it says what your thing is there, and I have under yours, Liz, IUM Canada Teen. That one's there. So
Perfect.
there you go. Okay, so follow them there. You can you can follow their pageant journeys, and also on IUM Canada Teen, see the latest interviews, which are happening frequently.
Yes, frequently.
And it's a great way to pass your time in isolation, where you're thirsty for new content. Well, there's plenty of content coming out, and there's one of them. Regine, where can people find you?
You guys can actually find me tonight at 5 p.m. with Pageantry Now. I'll be live with Stacy, so make sure you guys go to their Facebook page. And if you want to follow my social media, I'm sure it's down below somewhere, at It's Regine Alaina on Instagram and on Twitter. As well, if you want to follow my pageant journey, which you should, it's Ms. Galaxy Canada, MS Galaxy Canada. Where can they find you, Scott?
Well, you can find me right here where you're watching this show, which is currently on youtube.com/ScottDionBrown. In fact, hang on, where is it? It's over here. You can follow me on youtube.com/ScottDionBrown, or on Twitch, or on DLive. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at also Scott Dion Brown. I'm basically Scott Dion Brown on everything. And yeah, that's right. This show is also on Spotify. Although I didn't put, if you're looking for last week's episode, it is not on Spotify. And the reason for that is because we had so many audio glitching issues last week that it just didn't sound good. I just didn't want to have it on there. So, but this episode, I think we've got everything fixed. Again, doing this over Skype and in different places took some figuring out. But I think we've figured out all the bugs now, which is good. But otherwise, this episode will be on Spotify. And follow me at Scott Dion Brown. And if you guys have been following, you'll see that I've been doing a lot of gaming almost every day. So Twitch and DLive and YouTube, come on there and let's play some video games. It's fun stuff. And yeah, guys, this was fun. I enjoyed this very much. Did you guys have fun?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for coming.
And guys, you people who tuned in, again, you're stuck at home. You can't go outside. But there's lots of stuff you could be watching, but you chose to tune in and watch us right here, and we're so very grateful. So thank you once again for being here, and we'll see you guys next week, Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And my next gaming stream there's definitely going to be one Monday night. I might, if I have time, maybe today, but I'm not sure. We'll see. But
he's too busy watching Pageantry Now at 5 p.m.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll be tuned in. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's say goodbye, everybody. Let's wave.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye.
Bye.